Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Stretch and De-Stress. So this is going to be maybe a 10 to 15 minute stretch you can do maybe at night before you go to bed or post-workout, just to really sit with your muscles, get a little bit more mobility, and you really don't need anything except a mat, maybe a towel, and if you have a yoga block in some of the moves, it might come in handy. So I'm just going to keep that to the side. We're going to start standing. Turn down my volume a little bit. Okay. Hopefully that's a little better. Okay. All right. So we're going to start standing. And when we think of stretch, we need to think of mobility. So we need to get the joints movable in order to stretch and kind of lengthen the muscles. So let's just start with our feet about hip distance apart and just start with a nice big deep breath. How we kind of start all our workouts. Knees soft, little light contraction in the abdominals. Just kind of get the arms moving and just kind of set an intention for the next few minutes just to relax everything. Give yourself this beautiful time. You're going to find we're going to work the spine in all directions, and you might find this helpful with like low back pain, things like that. You know, those muscles are all connected. So when we move the spine and stretch our muscles around the midsection, usually that helps feel better in the body. Let's roll those shoulders back. Just nice and easy. Good. And you can go the other way. Just see which way feels better. Let's get the shoulders moving. You can move at your own pace today. Good. And I'm going to go back. I'm going to have you go back just to finish up here. Last one. Good. We're just going to bring the chin to our chest and then over to the right and then chin to chest and over to the left. So just taking that neck, taking a nice little release. If it feels good to stay on one side, please do so. So you might want to stay here and just look down and up. See if that gives you a nice release. And if it feels good, you could take it all the way around. And just a slight open mouth when you go back. Again, if this doesn't feel good for you, just keep it in the front. Just going to take a couple more. I just like to keep that jaw open when you go back. Release any tension there. Good. Come on up. And we're just going to go side to side. Nice and easy. Side to side. Make a nice little side bend here. I'm going to add a little baby squat just to get those hips moving. So I'm going to add a squat and a side bend. And really just take your time on it. It can be just a tiny, tiny squat. Not looking for anything big. We just want to move, like I said, move the joints, move the hips, move the knees. Get them moving a little bit before we stretch. Good. I do one more on this side. Good, and we're going to bring our arms up in front and just open, bring them in and down. Just keep doing this, going up in front and just opening in and down. Keep that pelvis a little tucked under. This is how I usually start my Pilates classes, with a little core connection and getting everything moving. So sometimes when we think Pilates, we think just the core, but it's really more than that. Good, everything starts at our core. Open up as much as you're comfortable there. So we're not looking for a back bend. Just open up the shoulders. Good. One more. Good. We're going to go to a little cat-cow. So we're just going to keep the feet a little wider now. And we're going to swoop and open. So we go to that flexion and extension. And that core connection comes in, especially when we do this exercise. Just keep that core connection, that light bracing of the core. Good, let that breath flow. Should start to feel pretty good right now. I'll be doing this on all fours, but it's nice to be able to do this in a standing position too. My mic keeps falling, I'm sorry about that. Last one. Let's get a little rotation. So we're going to bring the arms in front, and we're going to open up. I'm so sorry. This is really not working. There we go. Microphone issues are never fun. We're going to open up and then to the other side. Good. We're going to bring them up, open. So similar to that shoulder open we did to the front. Now we're just adding a little rotation. You can hold it back there. You can big exhale. Go a little further if you want. And I'm going to add a little calf raise right here as we come up, put them down, and then open. I like to give a little extra pulse there. Lift up on those toes. And last one, bring it down. Let's just take the arms up and back. And you can go out a little wider with your feet here. It's a great workout, maybe just to do in the morning or at night. It's any time really, but morning is just nice. Do a little 10-15 minute mobility to get your day started. Good. Last one. I'm going to come down, hands on the thighs, and just rock that pelvis. We're going to do our cat-cow here. Just keep those hands lightly on the thighs. Try to keep your shoulders away from the ears, especially here. We want that length. Sometimes we can crowd the ears there, and we want to lengthen. Good. Last one more, all the way up. Good. I'm going to come to the end of our space. We're going to take a nice big deep breath up, come up on the tippy toes, and then to the toes. So tippy toes and heels right here. Pointing my toes. It's very slight. And I have dark sneakers on. Maybe hard to see. Just kind of rock forward and back. Good. Last one. Bring those arms down. Start to round down. And then roll it up. This is a little bit bigger than we did with that cat-cow in the feet wide. So we're going a little deeper here, letting the vertebrae spread apart as we go all the way down, wherever you are comfortable. Remember, you can drop down right to here and then roll up. That's fine too. This one, we're going to go all the way to the floor. And we're going to walk out to downward facing dog. So we're just going to walk out. And we're going to immediately start pedaling the feet, stretching our calves. This is such a great stretch for the calves, the hamstrings. It's okay if your heels don't touch the floor. We're just going to hold it there. Good. Come up on the toes and back to the heels. Again, getting that ankle mobility is so important. Especially if you're doing a lot of walking during the day. Just a great one to get everything moving. Good. Hold it there. And we're going to come down to our knees and sit back into our child's pose. So you can stay here. Whenever you need a break, you can just come back to this pose. You can take your feet a little wider, your knees a little wider if you need. And then we're going to come forward, just to all fours, and do that again. Just come back. Sometimes we think child's pose is so easy, but sometimes for a lot of people you can be tight in this position, especially in the quads. So you can always take those knees a little further apart. And we're going to come to all fours. We're going to keep going with this, just kind of getting a little more through the legs, the hips. Maybe inhale forward, exhale back. Good. We're going to come to all fours, hands under your shoulders, knees under your hips, and we're going to that cat-cow, rounding and arching the spine. So again, cat and cow is such an important exercise for our overall back health, because it just feels good to kind of move the spine in this direction. Exhale and inhale. But you may prefer one position over another to do this in. So you might prefer standing with that roll down we did. So it's a good one to do here. Last one. And we're going to come back to neutral. Good. All right. From here, we're just going to thread the needle. So we're going to set the hips back a little bit. Here's what I'm going to ask you. If you have a yoga block, to put it between the knees. That's going to help our core connection and our pelvic floor. Bring the hips back. Take the arm that's closest to me up. Open up. And then thread under. And come up. Just do this a few times. every time reaching further through, and every time you come up, maybe opening that chest a little more. Sometimes our shoulders get so tight. So take this in steps. We don't have to go to the deepest phase of the posture right away. We're going to do one more and we're going to hold it. So open up and now hold it. So the side of the face comes down. This arm can just extend out, or you can take it across the low back. So you're gazing at the fingertips that are thread through. This is a great stretch for your shoulder as well as the mid-spine. Feel a nice stretch in the delt there. And then bring it back up. Do a couple cat and cows here. You keep that block there. It just helps further and deepen the core connection and works your pelvic floor a little bit more. So important. Good. Stay here. We're going to set those hips back. It's an important step in thread the needle. Just take those hips back just a little. Open up and then thread through. And just take this a few times, maybe 4 or 5 times. Give that block a little bit of squeeze. We don't want to forget it's there. So every time you come down, you go a little deeper. And every time you come up, you're going to feel that shoulder open a little more. So the first time I did it, my head, neck, and shoulders really didn't come down much. Now I'm feeling a little bit better. Good. You can pause, wherever it feels good. Bring it down and hold. Good. So this arm can be extended out. You can keep it right here or take it across the back. This shoulder feels tight for me, so I'm just going to move it right here. Enjoy that stretch. Give that block a little squeeze. You can also do that with the little Pilates ball. And then bring it up. Good. Another little cat and cow. Nice. And release it. Good. All right. We're going to come up to our knees. We bring our right foot forward. I'm going to do this one from here. Take your right foot forward. And have that block just in case you need it for your hand. And you're going to just rock forward and back. So you go forward, keep this heel down, very important. Just kind of get mobile in those hips. Just kind of keep it moving. I'll show you from the side. So if you didn't need the block, you can just put your hand on the floor. That's fine. But having that block is just nice, even in your first few, just to have that little support there. And you go back as far as you can here. You're going to feel a nice stretch in the hamstring. And just kind of guide through it, flow through it. And see which one you need a little more. Maybe you need both, like me. And bring it back one more time. So we're stretching these muscles in a variety of positions. Now come back here to this original position. You can stay right here. Feel that nice hip flexor stretch. Or you can take that arm up and over and go back a little bit. You're going to feel the stretch in the quad a little bit more. So if that's too deep, maybe just come forward just a little bit. My quads tend to get really tight, so I like to kind of flow back and forth. So while I'm talking, you can either be holding these stretches or moving in them. Especially if these muscles are tight, you're just going to feel that release. And then if it gets to be too much, you back off and you come into it again. This knee, if you need an extra pad or a towel under it, please do that. When I go back, I really feel this in my quad. You take both arms up. Nice. All right, we're going to float back and just stretch that hamstring just a little. Bringing your chest down. Again, if you have that block, you can have it here. Good. And then we're going to keep that leg there. You're going to just turn so that your knee and heel are in the same line. And we're going to do that same stretch here. You're going to just get on a different spot in the hip. Again, this is excellent for back health. So even if you feel tight right now, just stick with it. Do a little bit every day. You can bring your hand down. There's that block really helps. Go into your little windmill. Again, keeping the shoulder open. And you can take little circles here. Here comes Jenny. Hey, Jenny. You gonna help me stretch? And then you can kind of do that same rocking here and just keep this heel down. And that works that ankle mobility. You can use your lock, back, good. Nice job. All right, I'm gonna go right to the other side. So bring the other foot forward, I'll face this way. Remember, we're just everything facing the same direction. Just kind of rock through. Remember, you want to get the joints moving, and then you can really get into that deep stretch. I feel a little tighter on this side. You want this heel down. It's really important. And see how that hamstring feels when you go back. You can keep this foot neutral or point or flex it, whatever feels good. If you're prone to muscle cramps, you might just want to keep it neutral. Another thing that helps with that is potassium, bananas, drinking plenty of water. So sometimes when I do this first thing in the morning, I'm really aware of that because, you're just coming back and coming up from sleeping, and maybe you need to be a little bit more hydrated when you do this. Good. And then we're going to hold it forward. Remember, you can stay here. You take that top arm up, lean back a little bit. You really feel when you lean back, you really feel that quad stretch and the hip flexor. So if that's too intense, just maybe stay here and try it again. It's the way we get better with stretching and mobility. Just working on it a few minutes a day. Also really helps bring your stress levels down when you have time to breathe, focus on your breathing, you're just aware of your body and how it feels. And come back. And you can bring that heel forward. Nice stretch in your hamstring, calf. You're going to hinge down, keep those shoulders relaxed. You don't want to tighten up and you don't want to be here. You want to kind of fold yourself into. Good. And then you're going to turn and face me. And you're going to have this thigh facing front and this toe facing this way. Again, that knee and ankle are in line. And you're just going to kind of rock back and forth. And we can go right into that windmill here. If you're a yogi, this is like triangle. You take that block inside. It's a really nice prop. Blocks are great. But if you don't have a block, use a book, a couple of books. This feels good. And this is going to open up that shoulder. So important for our strength movements. Particularly, I think of tricep overhead extension. If your front delts are tight, you're just going to want to tighten up through the neck and shoulders. So keeping those muscles open. So you can do that in a variety of ways. From standing, we open up those shoulders. You can sit at your desk and just roll those shoulders back. Good. Good. And I'm just going to press forward. I like to really hold that ankle down. Get deep into that stretch. It is intense. So if you need, you bring that block here to help support your upper body. And bring it back. Nice job. All right. I'm going to have a seat. Good. And you know what? You can sit on your block here. We're going to work on some upper body stretches. So if you don't like sitting on the floor, you can pop up on that block. Good. I'm just going to take one arm down, one arm up. Come back to center and stretch the neck. This time using your hand to help. This hand can be down, or you can bring it behind you. It's a little bit more intense. And feel free to position the head and neck wherever you need. Down and up. Maybe you found a spot that you're pressing that really you feel like, oh, that's a nice release. Good. And release it. Other side. Again, you can hold these stretches a little longer. Hand comes back. Press that shoulder down. That nice long stretch. This may be enough of a stretch for you. If you want, take that hand behind, and it's going to be a little bit more on this front shoulder, but it's such a good opportunity to open up that shoulder again. Again, feel free to change the position where that hand is. Good. And release it. Good. Go ahead and come on off the block and bring your legs out into a V. Again, you can sit on the block if that feels better. Just walk those hands out so you feel that nice stretch in the inner thighs. And you can walk in and out. Good. I'm going to move back a little bit. Again, sitting on a towel rolled up or a block or a book might feel better. If you're tight here in your hips or hamstrings, you might want to bend your knees. So when you elevate the hips, it usually feels a little better. I'm going to have you turn to one leg and fold. And go as deep as you want here. And if it feels too intense, come up, take a deep breath in, and then exhale, go deeper. And then bring it back around to the front. See how it feels. Maybe go a little further forward. You might want to reposition here. Excuse me. This is a nice stretch for the inner thighs. Walk it in, turn and face the other leg, bring it down. Again, you can reach for your toe here. If you have a towel, put a towel around the ball of your foot and hold here. That's a nice release too. If reaching for that toe doesn't feel good. Take a second here to fold. Have one hand on either side of the leg. Nice deep breaths. Come on up. And then walk it forward again. Just see if it feels a little better. Knees and toes facing up. You don't want to roll in. And you can just let go here. And you don't have to have your hands all the way out. And bring them in. And bring them out to your legs. Your toes. Just deep breaths. Honor your breath. Honor where you are in this moment. And inhale up. Exhale. Good. All right. Let's come on over to all fours again. Do that cat-cow. So many other ways you can stretch these muscles, but we hit a few of the most beneficial ones, I think, for hips, low back. See how that cat-cow feels. You might want to go a little further back. And then if you want, you can stay here, or you can go into child's pose and then into a little up dog here. If you feel that is a good stretch for you. It's just really another version of cat and cow. Just make sure your chest is open here. Good. And if that little up dog here is a little too much, you can come down, bring the forearms out. The further the elbows are, the less extension. So I always say start where you feel a little bit, and then you can always walk it in. And just make sure you're pressing your hip bones down. This is a great stretch for your abdominals too. And just reach through the crown of the head. You don't want to slouch here. So again, if this feels good for you, just try to stay out of the shoulders and come back. Good. One more time, child's pose. And one of my favorite stretches, bringing your hands together behind your head. This really helps to open up the chest. Press your elbows in towards the mat and in towards the head. It's a really deep stretch. So if you're not comfortable with it, you can stay right here. If that's enough for you, but if you want to go a little deeper, you can also do this on a countertop. Make it a little bit more intense. Or a bench or a step. Prop your elbows up. It's a great way to open up the chest. Good. Yes, I'll just show you real quick. So if you have a stack of books or something, you can do it here. It's pretty intense. So you can always do it there. You can do it on the countertop, or you can just kind of gauge how far you want to go. All right, let's go into a little bear plank, lifting those heels, and then into your down dog. I had a feeling this was longer than 15 minutes, but Feels good. And de-stress and relax. Good. Just stay here, relax your shoulders, kind of just relax your head. And we're going to walk our hands in, try to not tip the pelvis or move the pelvis. You can bend the knees a little bit and ragdoll over these legs. You can also just kind of ragdoll, let your arms sway. That's a good one. And then roll it up. And then I want you to stop with your hands above the knees for a second. So if you feel a little lightheaded coming up from the ground, this is a great way to kind of take your time coming up. So just stay here for a second. You can do a few more cat and cows. You can never really get enough of those. And just breathe. Just hands just above the knees, just a little light pressure there, and then roll it all the way up when you are ready. Over your shoulders, make a few arm circles. Yeah, just think about opening up that shoulder, opening up the chest, lace the fingertips behind you. You can move down here. And take it forward, back again. You get the idea with all this spinal mobility. It's so good for you. And just shake it out, and you should be ready for your day, or ready for night-night. Or my dog just looked at me and when I said night-night, she's like, oh, you going to bed? But a great way to just kind of de-stress, move your muscles a little bit, move your joints, get that synovial fluid through the joints, the elbows, the shoulders, the hips, the knees, and then you can really get into those stretches. So nice big deep breath. Bring your hands at your heart center. Do that again. Inhale, bring all that good energy in. And thank you for joining me. I'll see you next time.